Last month, I had a chance to speak to the 2020 class in my high school alma mater, which is an all-girls school in Los Angeles. And I said that they shouldn't see their graduation as an ending, but rather as a beginning. The beginning of a journey where they can now harness their work, their values, and the skills, all the skills that they've learned, to rebuild the world around them. Now, many of you have already spent years embodying and, yes, even enacting the change you'd like to see in the world. Yet the opportunity that lies ahead for you is the same one that those graduates and millions of young women around the world have as well. Those in the halls and corridors and places of power, from lawmakers to world leaders to executives, all of those people, they depend on you more than you will ever depend on them. And they know this. They know that all of you at a younger age than any modern comparison are setting the tone for an equitable humanity, not figuratively, literally. This is a humanity that desperately needs you. To push it, to push us forcefully in a more inclusive, more just, and more empathetic direction, and to not only frame the debate, but to be in charge of the debate. Girl Scout members are organizing Black Lives Matter protests around the world. You're creating films. You're creating films to encourage your peers to become activist leaders. You are reforming the criminal justice system. We need more mental health resources for all ages. You're leading coalitions to end gun violence. You are standing up and demanding to be heard, yes, but you are also demanding to own the conversation. Another thing about those lawmakers and leaders and executives I mentioned earlier. Now, many of them, better or worse, they don't listen until they have to, because the status quo is easy to excuse and it's hard to break. But it will pull tightest right before snapping. Women have always historically gotten a lot of, well, that isn't how it's done, or yeah, that's an idea, but you know what, we're going to do this instead. But when do we hear that as women? We hear that in the moments that we challenge the norms. So if that's the case, I say to you, keep challenging, keep pushing, make them a little uncomfortable, because it's only in that discomfort that we actually create the conditions to reimagine our standards, our policies, and our leadership, to move towards real representation and meaningful influence over the structures of decision-making and power. I believe we are on the precipice of transformation. We can accelerate the pace of change, and you know what? We don't have to be satisfied with the current speed of progress. Your voices are those of truth and hope, and your voices can and should be much louder. I know that you've already done people's lives better. The moment we're living through right now asks all of us to do more. It's a moment where your voices and your action have never been more urgently needed. Believing in true equality is not enough. It's going to take more than belief. We have to work for it every day, even when it's hard, even when it makes others feel uneasy. We have to speak up for ourselves, and we have to speak out for others who struggle to be heard. Like them, I know all of you will use your voices courageously. And I also know that all of you will use your voices compassionately. Continue to believe in yourselves. Believe in what makes you unique, and don't be afraid to do what you know is right, even when it's not popular, even when it's never been done before, even if it scares people, and even if it scares you a little. Your gut will tell you what's right and what's wrong, what's fair and what's unfair. The hardest part, and it was the hardest part for me, is to chase your convictions with action. You look at the breadth of the issues we're facing right now, it is easy to get overwhelmed. I understand. So be where you are. The growth and the change that you're pursuing might not feel like anything day to day. But when you look back, I promise, you will see that it all adds up. I will be cheering you on, so will my husband, so will Archie, as you all continue marching, advocating, and leading the way forward.